3, 2, 1. Hi, it's me, Diane Horn, always detecting Council Bluffs, Iowa, and Navy Thomas 8. We're back at it. We survived last night. A couple beers, fall off the porch, little blood stains. Decided I would go ahead and put on my knee pads today, and minus a helmet, which we need to get. Gold Digger Jack's with us today, too. And today, we're going to be doing the presentation of metal detecting.
Yes, and the associated must-haves.
Yes, the must-haves. And once you get started, you're going to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. What feels comfortable on your body, what you can take with you, how much weight you want. The thing is that you have to plan in your event. You can't just go out with 4 shovels or just 1 shovel. You have to plan where you're going to be digging, what you're going to be digging, what you're going to need, because there's no need for extra equipment, but you do need to have some backups in case you get yourself into a situation. So,
because all that stuff you have to lug around.
Exactly. Now, Navy Thomas 8 is an avid motorcycle rider. Adventure, teaching, all-encompassing hobby. But he would like to add another hobby to his motorcycle. And he can do that because with most, in all, metal detectors, they break down. Some of them easier than others, but they do break down. If you can see here, this is the Garrett Infinium. Infinium.
Oh, I got the
Pulse
microphone.
induction. It's pulse induction, so it has a little different way of measuring the conductivity of the metals under the search coil. And some of them will pull apart really easy, and you can see this. If you push these buttons in, it snaps off. You can pull this out. You can pull that off. And take these pieces apart.
It's got the little push buttons.
Exactly.
And then you can raise and lower the height. So if you're tall like me, I can extend it out so I don't have to bend over as much.
No, you do not want to bend over. You want it to be an easy cuff, and you want to be able to swing it without bending or getting too far back. What's nice about these is they do come apart, or you can fold them over. You can piece them down and put them all in your bag. You can put them on your back, or you can put them in your carry-all. It will come apart. The Garrett AT Pro is even easier to break down.
Which is not here today.
Right.
But we're going to do that one on another day.
Yes,
yeah.
When Suzanne gets back with it. So, and then I also have the little doodads that you can buy off eBay or different places. This I got from Eagle Detectors. Rick, thank you, Rick Oliver. And he's going to be out with me too. We've made, we're making plans to get out together here pretty soon. He's from Omaha, and if you want a good deal, I'll put Rick's link for you to get a hold of him. He'll give you a good deal on packages like this. I carry a flashlight.
Yeah.
Clip it onto this. This is really designed for the Pro Pointer to carry that with you, but I don't. I just carry it in my bag, and I use this for the flashlight at night instead.
Good plan.
You want to keep it away from the coil because these bigger search coils will pick up on the metal here.
You're kidding.
No.
Okay.
And this is plastic base right here. This is metal. So it's designed to really go deep, these bigger coils, and you don't want any other interference. It does take a while to know your machine though. One of the things about this one is you can take it underwater. That's land and sea, and everything is waterproof. So you want to get yourself a light one. This is not very light. This is really heavy, and the bigger the coil, the heavier it is, but it does build muscles and integrity.
I'm sure.
Okay. Another thing about metal detecting is you want to get yourself some headphones. The Garrett sells great headphones, and some of them are exclusive to the machine. That means you can't just go out and buy any old headphones. But we
run into that with GoPros and Garmins and the microphone dongles, and they know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you have to keep an eye on what is required for each unit. The Garrett LS and the Garrett AT Pro uses the same headphones, but they have a special plug-in, so you can't interchange them with
proprietary plug-in.
Yep. Okay, there you go.
All right.
And it gives you some volume adjustments here, stereo, mono. The value of the headphones, some of them require headphones, some of them don't. This requires a headphone. You cannot take the headphones off and hear the sound. It does not have external speakers.
Okay.
And that's probably because it is the waterproof. And you can get waterproof. I do have some waterproof, but they don't have the sound up and down, and it's really loud, and I cannot stand that. I hate it, so I don't know how I'm going to modify that. But the value of the headphones is you can hear sounds, and the pulse induction machines is not based on any screen for measurements.
Right.
It simply sounds, and it does discriminate some of the metals out if you don't want to hear them. There are buttons to do that, and dials, but the sounds have different sounds for different types of metals. So
Really?
you got to really, and then you hear the sounds, and if they're really strong, the more they are to the surface, because it does not have a depth on this one either. But once you get, this is for advanced users, more professional metal detectorists, because you're already used to the sounds, you're already used to the depth, you don't need the screen. So, but it is a really good machine. Even if you want to start on it, ask Billy from Lost Treasure Com AU. He has a pulse induction machine as well, and he just sweeps it through, and you can tell just based on
by the noise.
By the noise, easy to find. So that's what we're going to learn from today.
So can you differentiate between, say, a old pop bottle cap and a quarter?
Yeah, you can based on the sound, but some of those higher readings and sounds are so close, it's just best to dig it. Don't ever not dig something that you hear a good sound, a good sharp sound. Remember I was talking to you about the slur before the sound? The slur always means kind of like not a really good metal, so you can decide not to dig that. But just dig it. Just dig 100 hours of everything, and then you're going to learn your machine. This double D coil, which you'll find on the Garrett AT Pro, they read more than one sound. It reads so quickly that if you have 3 items in one hole, you're going to read all 3 items. So now you're going to have to differentiate the sounds between, well, is it 1 with 3 different metals, or is it 3 with individual?
3 different items.
Right, exactly. And so by doing a nice slow sweep and listening, you're going to be able to say, oh, there's a break in that. That means there's a separate item in there. There's a break in that. Then you can sweep it from this motion or this side, or do it really slow, because then you're taking these away from the one that you're trying to get the sound on. And if you hear anything high, bing, 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 even if it's barely light, you want to dig it, and you want to make sure you pinpoint it so you're not digging up your whole yard. I would suggest, if you're doing a yard, to make sure that you dig it with a tool that's either a handheld tool that you can get 3 or 4 inches, but not deeper, because you don't want a mess unless you're really good at it like me, or the coin popper.
Right.
But if you use a bigger shovel or something like this, if you're not real experienced, you're running the risk of getting into some trouble. And that could be lines, utility lines. Are you still up and going?
Yep, I have to check this microphone.
Okay.
But I just noticed I couldn't see what was going on.
All right. Ready
All right,
again?
go ahead. Yeah, you're fine.
3, 2, 1. So as we go along today, we're going to learn a lot about, in action, the different types of shovels and things that you would use. But like I had just started to mention, you got to be experienced when you're doing a yard or somebody's personal property, because you do not want to get their cable split.
That's a very excellent point.
You do not want to do that. And you have to understand that before you start digging, you might not know where those cables are, but you have to listen for the longer tones or the short ones. If it's short, you still might get a coin, you might get something else, but how do you know that that line is not under that? So you don't want to dig any further down than you have to. But unfortunately, people do, and they end up doing a lot of damage. So I pick and choose when I'm going to dig with that shovel really deep, but I will not hear any other sounds around it if I choose to dig deep with that shovel.
So if you come across the line, you can actually follow the line too, right? And then you should be able to realize that's a line.
Exactly. But it might not be a line, so follow it. It could be a Civil War gun. I mean, it could be a rifle. It
Right,
could be
if it's-
anything. You just got to be able
If
to
it's
know.
this, okay, yeah.
This long and this long is two different things. It could be a
This
pipe.
long and out to the street.
Yeah. If you're doing if it's going this way, obviously it's not a line coming to the house. But you have to make some discernments, and sometimes you might want to just dig slow.
That's a really
and
good point.
Wait for anything going under your shovel. You have to even feel with your feet and sense if you hit anything, because you might go for the metal and you might be hitting a bottle. I don't know how many bottles I have broken because I didn't know there was a bottle there that doesn't measure glass. So you have to dig, and if you're in a forest or a field, who cares? You will be breaking something on the way, but you can dig deep, and you might have to punch that shovel down to get in there, and sometimes even in the yard. But I just would not advise, you know, just going out and searching in the yard without real proper reasoning. Power of reasoning.
That's really good thinking.
I use 3 different types of shovels, mainly.
Oh, wait a minute. You gotta. Okay, go ahead and go with the shovels. You're
Okay.
fine.
Mainly the handheld shovel. This is a less shovel. It also has a serrated edge for tree roots, so that you can sever the tree root.
Or the power line.
Yeah. Usually the power lines are deeper than this, so this is 6 inches, and you can get in and really dig up. You want to have an area where you can maybe push down. Some people don't use that, but I prefer that. And you want to keep it semi-sharp. This is really dull and dirty. The King of Spades still also has a serrated edge. You want to keep that sharp and clean. It's dirty.
You know, I never noticed that in anybody's videos if they had serrated edges. That's
On one side.
that's brilliant.
Yeah. And then you also have your pitchfork, and this is the pitchfork that I stabbed through my foot. But
She did too, really. On video.
I think the blood is still on it because I don't think I've cleaned it since then. But what's the value of these really strong pitchforks is when you are in a bottle dump or some other area that there's multiple items, this will help pick it up and dig it out.
And maybe with less chance of breaking it.
Right, but don't use it in your yard. You really need a spade in your yard. This is for more like the bottle dumps and things. Okay?
And you've got the one little one behind you.
And the one little one, if this works.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay, it's dirty too. I can't remember what this one's called, but a lot of metal detectors use this one. It does have a proper footing on it. I don't care for it as much because if I'm going to use something bigger than this, there's a reason why. I'm going to be digging deep, and I don't want to make any more cuts than I have to, because still with this one, you're going to be cutting. People like this because it's so light.
Oh, yeah.
And you can carry it in your backpack, which is what I do here. If you're climbing up steep hills and you're not ready to dig, I use this, and I put that one in there, and my magnet. There's a magnet on the end of that.
The magnet ones get quite elaborate when these when Bo is out doing rivers in Virginia. He uses that magnet before he dives underwater.
Yeah, you want to get rid of all of the iron. This will pick up a car. This will pick up a car. Is this supposed to be 250? Not this one. This one. 250. It picks up 250 pounds. I've got this one modified so that when there's nails, or you can drag it along the river bottom when you're out like that, so it doesn't come off. But I mean, it really will pick up stuff out of the rivers. I love this one. And then you have to try to get it off. That's how.
All right, keep it away from everything.
Yes. Jeff, move it. That's not a basic tool. This is not a basic tool. Your basic tool for magnet is back in here. And we'll get to the coin popper here in a minute. Your basic tool for a magnet is just something you can carry with you. This is modified as well. Got this magnet off of eBay, and it will still pick up. Now, some metal, of course, is not.
Yeah, that's stainless, probably.
Yeah, you can't pick a magnet up with it, but this you can.
Yeah.
So, if you're you have a lot of choppy signals, but you have a really good signal, it could be nails. Just use this to kind of fish through it. And this digging tool, the previous videos I've kind of demonstrated it. It's really sharp. Somebody made it, and they're selling it on eBay for $100. It works.
It's called the coin popper.
Coin popper digging tool, but you have to be really right on before you use this. Otherwise, you know, you're just digging holes. That's your digging. And then
Your mini one.
Yep. The glorified, the favorite, every metal detectorist has to have one of these. Don't go with any other brands, just go with Garrett. I've used other brands and they just don't have the power that this one has. It would be nice if it was completely waterproof, but you can. Bo has one video, it's a couple years old now, but he shows you how you can
Waterproof it.
Because this is not waterproof, this is not waterproofed, and then this seal right here. But he uses plumber's putty and some kind of goop.
What kind of battery is that? Rechargeable, or do you have to replace the batteries?
No, this is an easy replace battery. It's lasts about 21 hours.
Okay, 21 on that, and what about the other one? Is that rechargeable?
Yeah, that one is rechargeable, and it has a certain pack you can even plug into your lighter to recharge. So when these are done, then you can put in another pack.
Can you take the battery out of that, and
Yeah.
if you had another battery that was already charged, you could hot swap right on the... Good, that's just like a GoPro.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's all you have.
Okay, it's a 9 volt.
All it takes. Easy as can be. And when you're using this, you want to shut it off. You don't want to just keep it on and lay it aside because it's already detecting other metals if you're laying it aside. But it has a light. It does work a little bit, but it's not, it's not a big deal, that light. It's got a scraping edge, and it will read all around here. But to pinpoint it, you have to have it right on the edge. So the closer you get to the metal, the more concentrated the sound. So, see, it's right on there. But you can read it from any angle, but this is what's going to pinpoint it. And once you're right on it and it's just buzzing, there's just no way that you can not find it.
Now, the reason she's saying that that's a must-have is you go out and dig a hole, and if it's in coins have a habit, from what I've seen, of getting a dirt ball around them. So instead of sitting there and breaking them all up, you can take that and you can nail it down to, okay, it's that dirt clod, and then break it open.
Yeah, and a lot of coins and other relic will just become discolored or another color, so you're not going to even see it necessarily with the naked eye. And even the smaller items, this is the only way to go. If you just have to go metal detecting and you've left this at home, just forget it. It's too much work. You'd have to take the clods and run it over your coil, and some do that, but it's just too much for me. I'd rather just have one of these and usually a spare in case you've left it or you've dropped it. and it's probably really good to put some kind of reflector on it.
In case you drop it.
Yeah, because then you at night you can just run your flashlight around and you can see your tools wherever you've left them. Yep. The basics in a bag, if you don't want to take anything else, is your
It
bag.
looks like a regular construction bag.
This is a electrician's bag. I've modified the belt with either, I think it's an electrician's belt too, with something else, but you want a really strong belt, because once you start filling up the pouches with things that you find, it's going to get heavy and it's going to slide down your legs, so you want to make sure that you have something to hold around your waist. And the basics are one small shovel, one small magnet, a cloth for the extra dirt, so that if you need to dig a bigger hole from the hole that you've already dug, put the extra dirt on here, and then you can just pick it up and shake it back down into the hole. You do not want extra dirt in your yard, because even though it doesn't look messy, once it starts raining, there's your dirt and you can see the seams of your holes. You don't want that. And then this tool here, which is supposed to go on the end of that, so
right.
Is where you're raking through bottles and things. I always have one of those. Your little container for the smaller finds, because if you think you're going to remember where your small find is and you put it in your pouch like this, it's going to get dirt and then you can't find it anymore. So you could start cleaning it up with one drop of dish detergent with the water, and there you go. But you do want something like this, and
this is pretty elaborate.
your Garrett Pro Pointer, that's all you need and you're in business. And knee pads and shoes. These shoes are baseball shoes or cleats.
Right, they got the cleats, so you got traction.
You need traction. Plus, it helps to stomp down your plugs and make your cut seamless. And a hat. And I usually, on any sunny day, I'll wear long sleeves even if I'm dying of the heat, because I do not need any extra sun on my arms.
I wore long sleeves because I figured we were going to go out there, and which we will, and ticks are probably starting to come out. And I don't know if there's ticks up there or anything, so I was like, I think I better wear a long sleeve.
Yeah. We're going to...
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to go over the front yard just a little bit, because I know there's still a lot of stuff right here outside the porch to dig up. And with this machine, it's going to be easier because it is an all-metal machine. You can turn the dials to discriminate some, but it's best not. Just dig. Okay?
And I'm going to walk along with the Sony, and I'm going to record right next to it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the sound because she'll have the headphones on, so...
Yeah, but the closer you get, you can still hear the sound. I can put one of them up so you can hear it when we get to that point.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.